Deep into that darkness, peering along, I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the darkness gave no token. But the only word there was spoken, a word, Lenore. This was whispered, an echo muttered back, Lenore, merely this and nothing more. The Raven, by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I wandered weak and weary, over many quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered. "Tapping at my chamber door, only this and nothing more." Ah, distantly, I remember, it was a bleak December, and each separate dying ember walked the ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought the borrow from my books a crest of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for a rare and radiant maiden, who the angels named Lenore, nameless, here forevermore. And the skill and head uncertain wrestling at each purple certain filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now is still beating in my heart. I stood there repeating, "'Tis some visitor entering entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entering entrance at my chamber door. This is it, and nothing more." Deep into the darkness, peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, piercing my soul grew stronger, hastening then no longer. "Sir," said I, or "Madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and so greedily you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door, darkness there, and nothing more." Back into the darkness, the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon I heard again the tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely this is something of the winter latents. Let me see then, threat of mystery implore. Let my heart be still a moment in the mystery implore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shatter, when with my flatter. And there sat in stately raven, suddenly days of yore. Not the last obedience made he, and not an entrance stood or stayed he, but in the mane of lord or lady pierced above my chamber door, pierced upon the bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, pierced and sat, and nothing more. And this emboy bird, billing my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave of stern decorum, and the discontents of yore. "Through thy chest is sworn the shaven thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name of knights and pomp shore." Quoth the Raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled, this ungainly fool, foul to hear disgrace of plainly, though the answer little meaning, little reveling bore, for we cannot help agreeing that no living animal being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculpted burst above his chamber door, which such a name as Nevermore. But the Raven sitting lonely, and placed bust spoke only that one word of his soul, the word that he did not abhor, nothing further than he uttered, no further than a fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before, on the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Settled at the stillness, broken in replay of artfully spoken. "Doubtless," said I, what it utters is only shook to shore, caught from some unhappy master, from unmeaningful disaster, followed faster, till the songs of burden bore, till the degrees of hope that miraculously burden bore, of nevermore. But the Raven still believing all my sad soul into smiling, straight I wheeled, and cursed sat in front of a bird. The bursted door then opened, then upon the valiant shaking I took myself to liking, fancy unto fancy, thinking that its ominous bird of yore. What is this grim, ungodly guess? Grant, ominous bird of yore meant the croaking Nevermore. This I sat, eager and guessing, but no sadly impressing, but the fool whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This is more, I sat driving with my head at ease, reciting the cursed and valiant liking of lamp-bolted horror. But these velvet lying with the light